Welcome to How to Cake It. I'm Yolanda. Now, as most of you know, I'm not exactly a nature buff, but I do know that the Easter Bunny lays Cadbury Creme Eggs. Thanks to Cadbury for supporting and collaborating with me on this video. This is a nature scene. Orhan, insert like tweeting birds. To make this Easter Bunny cake, I have baked 6 vanilla cakes that I dyed pink. I'm pretty sure the Easter Bunny is pink on the inside. I've removed them from their pans, leveled them, and cut the caramelization off the bottom of all of the cakes. Now Sir Squeeze-A-Lot is here. Well, he lives here. So I pulled him, I woke him up out of the drawer and asked him to simple syrup all these cakes for me. Here is a fun nature fact. The Easter Bunny now lays 4 flavors of cream egg: Oreo, Chips Ahoy, Caramilk, and of course, the original cream egg. I'm gonna chop up all 4 flavors of cream egg to take this cake to melt in your mouth status. I'm stacking this cake by layering it with Italian meringue buttercream and my chopped cream eggs. If you're in the mood to bake this spring like I am, who am I kidding? I'm in the mood to bake every season. I have more Easter videos and more spring-themed videos in this playlist right here. Orhan, maybe like the addition of a slight rainfall, you know? Once I'm done layering and filling my cake, I place it in the fridge to chill until the buttercream is nice and firm. I've got to get this cake looking like the Easter Bunny, so I use a sharp serrated knife to start to form the body of the Easter Bunny. Nature fact, the Easter Bunny's body actually has the shape of an egg. Are you taking notes, Jocelyn? You have your laptop. There will be a quiz.
I'm actually adding all this to Wikipedia.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Once I'm happy with the shape of the Easter Bunny's body, I take my reserved cake layer, cut it in half, and carve 2 feet. It's time to crumb coat and chill. Crumb coat and chill. You know what? I feel like at the end of 2016, I made a promise to not sing in 2017, and I just broke my promise. I'm gonna stop now. I love using my smaller spatulas, both straight and offset, when icing or crumb coating novelty cakes. These spatulas feature wooden handles, and wood comes from nature.
Oh, wow. It's another fascinating fact.
It is. Now that the crumb coat has chilled, I'm going to ice my cakes one more time, keeping the body and the feet separate at this point. Now for all of the recipes you need to make this cake, there's a playlist with some great videos right here. This Easter Bunny is missing some vital parts. So I make 2 recipes of my Sculpting rice cereal mixture to create his head, his 2 arms, his tail, and his 2 thighs. When I make my rice cereal mixture for Sculpting, I choose to leave out the butter completely. I really just want the cereal and the marshmallow and be able to sculpt it and condense it into any shape that I like. I sculpt the rest of the Easter Bunny's features by hand, making sure that his 2 arms and 2 thighs, yes thighs, are an equal size. No, and I don't mean that his arms are the same size as his thighs. I mean his 2 arms are the same size and his 2 thighs are the same size. Here's a nature fact. Arms and thighs don't look alike. Make sure when sculpting with rice cereal mixture, you want to put some shortening on your hands, so that it doesn't stick and it makes it easier to handle, and you really want to compress the mixture as you sculpt. Nature fact number, I'm going to say 8. The Easter Bunny has some very fit thighs. Hopping is the new squatting. You should see his legs. I'm jealous. I'm going to start hopping. Once all of the Easter Bunny parts that you've sculpted have firmed up, you need to ice them to get the buttercream in all the nooks and crannies and give them a smoother surface. It's time to cover everything in white fondant before I assemble all these parts to make an Easter Bunny. I start by covering the body and the feet. I roll out my fondant to about 1/4 inch thick, drape it over the body, and then smooth it all around. It can be kind of tricky because the body's quite tall, so you want to make sure to smooth all the way down, pushing out any air. I trim away the excess fondant from the base of the body, tucking it underneath. When covering the arms, thighs, and tail, I need to get the fondant all the way around each part. So I roll my fondant and drape it over as I usually do, but then I pick up each part. I hold a soft sponge in my hand so that I won't dent them. And then I just gather my excess fondant on the top, pinching it together, and then cutting away the excess with a sharp knife. Before covering the head, I need to place it on a small round board. This will help when assembling the Easter Bunny. Now I roll out more white fondant, drape it over, smooth it all around, and then, I flip the Easter Bunny's head. Gather the fondant towards the board and cut off the excess around the board. I'm gonna turn all these parts into an Easter Bunny.
It's like your Mother Nature.
Yes. So I place the feet, an equal distance from each other so he looks like he has good posture. And then I take the thighs and place them on top, gluing them with some royal icing. You wanna hold them in place for a bit just to make sure they have started to set. First I make a pilot hole in the bunny's head. I'm sorry, bunny. Then I place my sharpened dowel into the cake body and place the head on top right through the dowel. There he is. He's got a head. He's got no face yet. Before I move on to the arms, I want to sort of clean up the seams between the feet, thighs, and body. So I take some royal icing and actually pipe it into the seams. Then I use a damp paintbrush and just sort of smooth that royal icing so that everything looks like one.
So another nature fact is Easter bunnies don't have seams.
No, Easter bunnies have seams. Other bunnies don't.
Where are the seams? You just covered them.
Oh, I get it. Arms. I am adding arms. It's just a title. Can you put arms across the screen in bold? Something subtle. I'm adding the arms to the bunny on either side of his head using royal icing to attach them, and I did use a couple of lollipop sticks at the base of the arms to help secure them to the cake.
Now, are they on either side of his head or his body?
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, they're on his body on either side of his head.
To be clear.
Easter bunnies have tails. It's like a little cottontail. I add it to the back, again with a lollipop stick and some royal icing. And there's no seam between the tail and the body, so I use my royal icing technique once again. To make this bunny's features, I'm rolling out some white, black, gray, and pink fondant nice and thin, and I'm using piping tips, a variety of cutters, and a template for his belly. Nature fact, Easter bunnies have pink bellies. For his eyes, I used oval cutters for the main shape, and then I used piping tips to make his pupils and a little catch light. For his mouth, I used a large heart cutter, and then I sort of rounded off the tip. So I had this little, you know. I formed his little pink nose by hand. It's kind of like a little triangle, an upside down triangle. Softened little, cute little. You just want him. I lay my template onto pink fondant, cut out the shape of his belly, and glue it onto the surface of the cake with a little bit of water. Did I use piping gel or water? One of the two. I know I've been giving you facts throughout this whole video, but this one's mind-boggling. The Easter bunny wears a bow. His bow is actually quite similar to the color of my t-shirt. I wore it in honor of the Easter bunny, the one and only Easter bunny. Now you should make this bow in advance because it needs to set up, but all you have to do is roll out some of the Tiffany blue gum paste, nice and thin, and then cut 2 equal bands. Then working quickly, use a sharp paring knife to slightly taper the bands at either end. Working one band at a time, gather each end together, pinching the gum paste together, and then loop the 2 pinched ends over to meet each other and secure them together with a little bit of piping gel. Once your bow is dry, we can add it to the Easter bunny. Add 1 bow loop at a time, piping on a little bit of royal icing to the back of the loop. Place it onto the bunny on one side, and if you feel you want a little bit of extra support, you can actually take a toothpick and pierce it underneath the bow.
This is like surgery.
It is, it's bunny surgery. I'm also the Easter bunny's vet. Then using the same Tiffany blue gum paste, roll out a little band that you can use to cover the middle part of the bow, making it look like it was tied right around his neck. The other gum paste feature you need to make ahead of time is ears. I actually was joking that he looked a bit like a white seal before I added the ears. He really did. He did. He just looked so sweet, and yeah, he did. To make my gum paste ears, I start by rolling out a rectangle of white gum paste. Then I cut that rectangle in half, and I lay a floral wire down the middle of one of those bands of gum paste. Then I lay the other band of gum paste right on top. I smooth out the gum paste by using my fondant rolling pin to just roll over it and sandwich those 2 pieces together. Now using a bunny ear template that I cut out myself, I place it on top of the gum paste, making sure that the wire is down the center, and cut out the ear. So what I do is take the exposed wire and insert it down into a styrofoam cake dummy, allowing the ear to dry, sort of flopping appropriately upside down beside the cake dummy. Once my ears are dry, I want to add a little pink detail, like mine, to the inside of his ears. I simply took the same template I used to cut out the ears and cut it a bit smaller, and then I laid it onto some thinly rolled out pink fondant, the same fondant I used for his belly, cut out the inner ear shape and glued it onto each ear with a little bit of clear piping gel. remember, the Easter Bunny's head is made out of rice cereal treats, so he's a little bit hard-headed, if you know what I mean. I used a toothpick to make the holes into his head where I will place the wire, because if you use the wire, it might bend or not make it all the way through. Now that this bunny has ears, I use my royal icing technique just to clean up the seams. Final detail, this bunny needs whiskers. I made myself a little template, because I love templates, because I felt that the bunny's whisker holes on either cheek should be equal. So I took a little round piece of parchment paper and drew a pattern of dots, and then I laid that over my bunny on each cheek and used a pin to mark out those dots. And finally, whisker time. I'm not gonna lie, making these whiskers was not fun. Each whisker is a floral wire wrapped in gray fondant and then rolled out to get it as thin and smooth as you can. That was not tiring at all. To make this scene true to nature, I wanted to display the Easter Bunny in his natural habitat. So I added some paper grass and some cream eggs. I used gold luster dust to add some glam to some of these cream eggs. Wait a minute!
What?
I haven't told them his name. His name is Bartholomew.
Did he tell you that in private?
Yes, he whispered it to me when I was nuzzling him, when we were nose nuzzling. If you want to learn more about nature, you have come to the wrong place. But if you want to learn more about cakes, please subscribe to this channel. I am trying to reach 3 million, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I have a freshly baked vid. Thanks again to Cadbury for supporting and collaborating with me on this video. Bartholomew thanks you.